We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Good morning. Regular meeting of the Yuma County Board of Supervisors, also sitting as all special taxing districts, April 17th, 2023, 9 a.m. Board members will attend either in person, by telephone, or remotely via electronic conferencing. And I know Supervisor Simmons will not be in attendance. However, he might be participating by phone. Do we have him online?
Yep, I'm here.
Good morning, Simmons.
Morning.
Morning.
Hi, Darren.
How's Wisconsin?
Morning. How y'all doing?
Are you cold?
Nope.
Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and Supervisor Lyons, can you please lead us?
Yep. Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This time we'll go ahead and move on. We'll move on to call to the public. Call to the public is held for public benefit to allow individuals to address issues within the board's jurisdiction. Board members may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to Arizona Revised Statute 38-431-01, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to criticism, or scheduling the matter for future discussion and decision at a future date. Public comments may be made in person or submitted by email at publiccomment@yumacountyaz.gov. The email forms of public comments will be read out loud during the Yuma County Board of Supervisors meeting that starts at 9 a.m. Desiree, do we have any emails?
This morning we received an email from Manuel Sarti, and it also includes photographs, so I've sent it all to your email accounts for review. He says, hello, this is a call to the public item along with pictures I would like shown while it is read. The speech is right around 3 minutes. He talks about the band trailer park located on the corner of Vaughn and 5th Street and the other band park on May Avenue. He says that he's aware that the court process can take a very long time to come to completion. What he does not understand is how this is not declared an emergency abatement and instead has taken many years of countless complaints and going before the board and it falling on deaf ears. In closing, he asks for real action to take place and says, as of yet, no court date has even been set for this park, and each day that goes by is another day that we allow children to be placed in harm's way.
All right. Comments taken. So pass it on to staff and thank you. Anybody? I don't have any comments.
Well, we can't.
Anybody from the public? I'll leave it open just in case we have later on. We'll move on to presentations, proclamations, and appointments. Item number 1, and gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce to the board and to Yuma County the new Consulate of Mexico for Yuma, Dulce Maria Valle Alvaraz. Fácil. Sí, ahí atrás al revés, para este lado.
Diríjase a nosotros así, quede en la cámara.
Buenos días.
Muy buenos días. Good morning, everybody. Yes. I'm honored, really, to be invited to address the regular meeting of the County Board of Supervisors. I thank Mr. Martin Porchas, whom I had the pleasure of greeting last week, and the County Administrator, Yad Matkogay, I hope I pronounced well, for the kind invitation. Also, the members of the board, Mr. Tony Marquez, that I knew before, Mr. Jonathan Lyons and Mrs. Elaine Pancrasi. Yes, it's very nice to meet you, and really, really, it's a pleasure to be here with you this time. I will be brief because I have seen that you have a very full agenda with important issues for country management. So I must say that I have expressed my great interest in consecrating the knowledge and experience that I have acquired since joining the Mexican Foreign Service in 1991 in a position of responsibility and leadership in our consular network. I have served at the bilateral and multilateral levels, and I'm convinced that this has given me the necessary tools to be able to defend with conviction the human rights of my connationals abroad, with a special care for children and adolescents, as well as to carry out the inherent documentary and administrative tasks to serve the Mexican community, and no least, the no less important task of economic, commercial, and cultural promotion. You can count on me and the excellent team at the consulate to strengthen the existing close ties. I will always keep my doors open to listen to the Mexican community and, of course, to collaborate with the Yuma County Board of Supervisors, always a strategic partner of Mexico in the context of the United States-Mexico binational relationship. This is the first time I had been in Arizona, and it was a pleasant surprise to see the enormous potential for development that this region has, with the challenges that come with being located in the desert. It is an expanding and rapidly growing county that I'm sure you are proud of. Now I want to talk a little bit about the relation. Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard Casubon was in Washington last week, along with other members of the Security Cabinet, in high-level meetings on fentanyl and arms trafficking with his counterparts for the United States and Canada. Before the meeting, Mr. Marcelo Ebrard reiterated, and I reiterate also here, that Mexico is the main international ally of the United States in the fight against fentanyl. The foreign minister said that Mexico's priority is to curb arms trafficking from the United States in order to reduce the firepower of criminal organizations and make our communities safer. The trilateral dialogue last January, you know that in Mexico City was the meeting with Mr. Biden, Monsieur Trudeau, and Mr. López Obrador, Mexican president. And this recent meeting last week show how complex the bilateral agenda is, but also that we are partners and collaborate to reach a safe and organized migratory flow and to combat trafficking in arms, human beings, and drugs. With regard to our border at San Luis, Colorado and San Luis, Arizona ports of entry, the consulate will always be present to support the needs of our nationals and to collaborate with local authorities in Yuma County in all areas deemed appropriate. I'm very happy to be here in this beautiful and sunny city, your city. Thank you very much.
Gracias. Thank you for and welcome to Yuma County in Arizona. Hopefully you don't leave after the summer.
Yeah. Until now, it's very nice weather.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah,
Humid.
humid.
So he's
I think you,
I think
we'll see you in July, August, yeah.
I think you come from Canada, which is a very different.
I was in Canada the last 11 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's
Oh,
I
yeah.
used to speak in French, for that reason I have to practice more.
Ah.
I can speak fluent French.
Yeah, Well, it'll take you a little bit of time to separate the city from the county, but I'm sure you'll do it.
Yes,
Over
I
time.
know, I know the county stuff. Yeah.
We are
Well,
bigger
yeah.
city, but
Yes, I know you are.
we don't want to brag about it.
And you have a talent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for this invitation.
And then once again, welcome, and we'll have I'm continue to work together with the consulate, Mexican consulate. Our doors are always open, so look, whatever you need, let us know, and we can work things out. Thank you.
We know that most of the time staff gets a lot of the work done. So there's Alejandro Figueroa is somewhere in there. That I'm sure he'll get in touch with you sometime to connect directly with your staff. And I know there are members of your staff here, so
Yes,
there will be that working relationship established soon enough.
yes, I know. I will try to find this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dulce.
Es un placer.
I think
Bienvenidos.
Sí, sí habla español, pero corto, pero sí habla
I'm the only,
No me pueden parar.
I can speak kindergarten Spanish, that's what I tell you. That's, I taught kindergarten, so.
Thank you very much.
Bienvenidos. Mucho gusto.
We'll go ahead and move on to item number 2. Chairman proclaims the week of April 23 to 29, 2023 as Victims' Rights Week. And
No, I don't have it. I have the. I have the National
it.
Work
I
Zone
got it.
for some reason.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Proclamation proclaim the week of April 23 through 29, 2023, Crime Victim Rights Week. The Crime Victim Rights Act passed in Arizona and at the federal level guarantees victims the right to meaningfully participate and use their voice in the criminal justice process. And victim service providers, advocates, law enforcement officers, attorneys, and other allied professionals can help survivors find their justice by enforcing these rights. And Crime Victim Rights Week provides an opportunity to recommit to listening to crime victims in every space where decisions are made that could impact them. And victim services agencies in Yuma County are hereby dedicated to amplifying the voices of crime victims and creating an environment where the crime victims have the confidence that they will be heard and supported. Now, therefore, I, Martin Porches, Chairman of the Yuma County Board of Supervisors, hereby proclaim the week of April 23 through 29, 2023 to be Crime Victim Rights Week and reaffirm this county's commitment to creating a victim service and criminal justice response that assists all victims of crime during Crime Victim Rights Week and throughout the year, and to express our sincere gratitude and appreciation for those community members, victim service providers, and criminal justice professionals who are committed to improving our response to all victims of crime so that they may find relevant assistance, support, justice, and peace.
thank you, Supervisor Lyons. We have
A representative.
representatives from
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Alicia Franco, and I represent the Yuma County Victims' Rights Committee, which is composed of several agencies throughout Yuma County. And we are here to, some of those members are, of whom we might have some representatives here today, include Amberley's Place, Arizona Child and Adolescent Survivor Initiative, the County Attorney's Victim Services Division, Community Legal Services, MCAS Family Advocacy Program, MCAS Sexual Assault Prevention and Response Office, the Safe House, the Healing Journey, Yuma County United Way, Yuma Proving Grounds Family Advocacy Program, and the YPG Sexual Harassment Assault Response and Prevention Program. These committee members are sponsoring an event during Victims' Rights Week. It's a picnic to honor our survivors and their families, and that will be held on Thursday, April 27th from 5:30 to 7 at the Centennial Heritage area at the main library, which is down by Yuma Catholic High School. And we will be offering some light refreshments, basically some pizza and a few other things. And it's to bring these agencies and survivors together to let them know the agencies and members of the community, to let them know what services are available to them and that they are not alone in this, and they have support of many, many people. In addition to that, we have several agencies that are doing other things. There's a Somerton Domestic Violence Task Force that's quite visible in the South County area, and they have an event as well. And I'd like one of their members to come up and speak to you about what they will be offering.
Good morning, everybody. Buenos dias. So my name is Alma Rivera. I work at the Safe House. I'm one of the advocates there, and I'm here representing today the Somerton Domestic Violence Task Force. I just want all of you put in your agenda now. April 26, 5:30, everybody, writing? 26. So that day you're gonna get out soon from your office early and gonna join us for our second annual sexual assault walk. And the theme of sexual assault awareness this year is drawing connection. Prevention demands equality. Everybody take note about that? Yeah? Okay. So I'm so happy that this is our second walk and we continue growing little by little. And this job, we cannot do it by only one agency. So we have the blessing to have other agencies working with us besides most of the agencies that Alicia mentioned, but we have Comité de Bienestar, Campesinos Sin Fronteras, Regional Center of Border Health. And we need more people to be with us in the walk. We need to raise our voice. We need to get loud, like Jennifer Lopez, get loud. So hopefully you can be with us that day. So you're very welcome to have a booth so you can talk about your agency that you represent, because the victims need you. They need to know they're not alone. So we are here for them, and we need to continue promoting more awareness. Hopefully all of you have a blessing week, and hopefully I will see you, all of you, okay? Have a nice day.
Well, thank you. It's so great to have that huge support for the victims here in Yuma County. It just shows how much Yuma County really cares for everybody. So thank you all for doing that, and we'll go ahead and take a picture.
Who's coming over to receive the
Receive
proclamation?
and
All of
take
them.
a picture.
All agencies.
All of them.
How many people? We might have to stand up here.
Come on, Tori.
Come on, everybody. We promise to stand sideways.
We could probably,
We
hey,
might,
Lynn,
we might want to stand
we
in the
might want
back.
to stand up here.
There's
Oh, in the back?
Push our,
so muchas.
so we'll just push our chairs back and come together. Let's
Thank
warm
you.
up right here.
Everybody come on up here.
Here you are. Thank you. You want to show that?
No.
Okay, everybody come over here.
Good to see you.
Buenos dias.
Force of nature there.
Good. Nice to see you. Nice to see you too.
Yeah, no, yeah.
This way. Gotta shift this way.
Some of you over here. Yeah,
Squeeze in a
there you
little
go.
closer. Hey,
Oh, what a cute dress.
Thank you so much. It was the only chill dress I had.
Uh-huh.
get closer. Squeeze in. Can you fit us in the picture? Diablitos?
Tori,
Where's the
scoot
rest?
over.
Oh, yeah,
You're gonna look, there you go.
Hey, do
You're
it one
gonna,
more time.
when the picture comes out, you're gonna look like you're this far away. I've done that
Thank you.
before.
I was trying to get far away so I wouldn't be.
Ah.
It's Somerton.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
What, June 7th? June 9th. I'm writing it down. Okay.
It wasn't intentional. We weren't trying to clear the room. It just worked out.
You leaving? No.
Oh, okay.
You just got here.
Okay.
We'll move on to item number 3. Just a comment on this. The whole board voted on Supervisor Reyes to read this proclamation. Chairman proclaims the week of April 17 to 21, 2023 as Work Zone Awareness Week in Yuma County.
If you're implying that I'm not aware that, the time is, that's my driving, I think. Right, this is a proclamation proclaiming the week of April 17 to 2023 as National Work Zone Awareness Week in Yuma County. Whereas highway construction work and repairs to roadways must be done while the roadways are open to the traffic, putting both motorists and workers at risk every day. And whereas workers diligently continue to improve, rebuild, and maintain roadways so that motorists can safely and efficiently travel. And whereas accidents can be prevented by setting aside distractions, using extra caution, reducing speed, and giving a work zone undivided attention when motoring. And whereas Yuma County is dedicated to ensuring the safety in work zones for workers, motorists, passengers, bicyclists, and pedestrians. And whereas more than 40,000 people are injured and 1,000 people are killed each year in the United States as a result of motor vehicle crashes in work zones. And whereas National Work Zone Awareness Week was established in 1999 by the Federal Highway Administration to emphasize the importance of safety issues in work zones across the country. And whereas Yuma County urges all motorists to continue to recognize the responsibility that comes with driving a motor vehicle and the importance of maintaining safe and smart driving habits in designated work zones and at all times when operating a motor vehicle. Now, therefore, I, Martin Porches, Chairman of Yuma County Board of Supervisors, hereby proclaim the week of April 17th through 21st, 2023 to be National Work Awareness Week in Yuma County.
Thank you, Supervisor Reyes. And we have Joe, or Duncan.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Kelly Fricky, Interim Public Works Director. Thank you very much for your ongoing support. Work Zone Awareness Week is an annual spring campaign that is held to bring awareness and encourage safe driving in roadway work zones. And during this week, we have many activities that are scheduled that our Highway Maintenance Manager, Santos Guerrero, would like to cover briefly with you. So I will turn it over to Santos.
You know, I missed my hat. There was a hat, that's it.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. Good morning, Chairman Porches, members of the board. So this is, I believe, the third or fourth year we're celebrating Work Zone Awareness Week. This year, we decided to do something a little different. Last year, we had a big event at our facility. This year, as a recommendation of Joe Escalante, one of our employees, we decided to reach out to the local high school districts, to reach out to some of the more vulnerable drivers, you know, first-time drivers, some young drivers, very distracted drivers, and make them aware of the importance of work zones. As you know, all our employees, you know, we're out there every day dealing with the traffic, especially during the wintertime. It can get pretty hectic. But so this year we decided to reach out to the high school district and put on an event with them in coordination with them. We put together a video that stresses work zone awareness. It's just a little short 4 or 5 minute video that the high school district is going to put on their Canvas portal that the students have. And Thursday morning it'll be sent out to the entire school district so they can see that. And then Thursday we're also going to make a visit to Gila Ridge High School during their lunch hour, and we'll have a booth there along with the DPS, Quail Construction, and ADOT also donated some little gifts and stuff. So we'll interact with the students there and bring awareness to them. So just a few stats that we have. In Arizona, since 2016, there's been more than 60 people died in work zones. And nationwide, since 2020, there's been 857 fatalities on roadways. Wow. So it's real important for us. I mean, we do this on a daily basis, and we got our guys out there, so we want to make sure they're safe. And like I said, you know, the teen drivers or first-time drivers, some of those kids, you know, they're the most distracted, or they're the most, you know, vulnerable in work zones especially. So so like I said, this year we'll go to the high school to bring awareness to them. And also we're celebrating with our employees on Friday, which you guys are all welcome to attend. We're gonna have a little barbecue for our employees, just hamburgers and hot dogs. And I know Lynn was there last year, and I believe Darren was there last year. But you guys are all more than willing to attend.
What day was it again?
Thursday. I mean, sorry. Friday's the luncheon. Thursday we'll be visiting the high school. So we try to do something different every year. If this works out, we want to reach out to maybe 2 or 3 more high schools next year and do the same, and visit the high schools and bring awareness to them. So we appreciate you guys, proclaiming this Work Zone Awareness Week. And like I said, it's the 3rd or 4th year that we've been doing this, and it's just it's real important to our staff, that we. That being said, we got some gifts for the board members. Along with the caps, there's a little handout that shows some stats and stuff. There's a little QR code there that you can take a picture of and watch the video that's actually going to be put out through Canvas for the high school students. And we just want to thank you guys and appreciate what you guys do for us proclaiming this Work Zone Awareness Week.
Thank you.
Well, no, thank you. It is great to hear.
It's not gonna remain the too long.
Yeah.
That video loop into Channel 77?
No, it's not. No, we didn't get it in on time, but that's why we put the QR code there for you guys to watch it. But it's gonna be mass distributed to all the high school students, and hopefully it brings awareness to them.
And that's great to hear that. I think starting early for those that awareness for those young drivers that are just starting. That's hopefully they continue and not become like
A good habit.
Yeah.
Like the chairman.
But no, that's great to hear. And to the people out there, to all the rest drivers, be patient when they see signs and that people are workers ahead.
Yep.
We're seeing a lot right now because road maintenance on the road, so construction. So please, drivers, be safe and be aware.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
don't want potholes, just stay away.
We'll try to fix those potholes.
Take a picture.
Mhm. Go ahead. No, I can get down by myself. Why Sharon all? Yes. Good, how are you?
All right, you guys
I
do
got
it.
it. Hi, good.
Well, I'm holding my wallet with one hand and
Yeah,
holding this with the other one here.
there we go, there we go. Put the 2 women on, one on either side.
Gotta do something to break up the ugly. Thank you, guys. You're doing great.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And who's taking care of the streets now?
Thanks.
You're all here.
Mr. Chairman, we do have Supervisor Simmons back on the phone.
Oh, okay.
So we can't talk about him anymore?
I keep losing you, but I'll keep calling back.
Moving on to item number 4. Chairman proclaims April 2023 as Professional County Clerk of the Board Month.
We're complaining.
Yes. I'd like to proclaim April 2023 as Professional County Clerks of the Board's Month. Whereas the Office of the County Clerk of the Board is required by Arizona Revised Statutes as an appointment by the Board of Supervisors and is a time-honored and vital part of the local governments throughout the nation. And whereas the Office of the County Clerk of the Board provides the link between citizens, local governing bodies, and government agencies at all levels. And whereas county clerks of the board have pledged to conduct affairs of their office in a manner that shall be above reproach, which merits public confidence and trust. And whereas the office of the county clerk of the board records and preserves what is true and accurate. And whereas county clerks of the board continually strive to improve the administration of their office through participation in educational programs, the annual meetings of their state, county, and international professional organizations, In recognition of the leadership, innovation, and valuable service provided by the Arizona County Clerks of the Board, the Yuma County Board of Supervisors does hereby proclaim April 23rd as Professional County Clerks of the Board Month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And Supervisor Simmons did not agree to this.
Christie?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Chairman Porteous, members of the board, county staff, and members of the public. We've been doing this proclamation, this will be the third year, to recognize clerks of the board. Yuma County has 2 clerks. The clerks are appointed by the Board of Supervisors. We have 1 clerk, which is Ian McGahee. Then we have 2 deputy clerks, Desiree Doughton and myself. And the proclamation kind of briefly summarizes some of the important things about the clerks and what they do, but I wanted to go into a little bit more detail on that. The statute 22-241 cites, we record all proceedings and actions of the board, and that ties into the fact that we are the records keeper for not only the Board of Supervisors, but basically county government as a whole. Some of that can be delegated to the departments, the record keeping, but for the most part, the clerk, deputy clerks are the record keepers for the county. We preserve all the petitions and record the board actions regarding petitions, and those can be varied petitions to establish improvement districts and special districts, accept roads into the county system, just a myriad of different topics that can be petitioned for the board to approve. One of the most important things that clerks do is we help to make sure that we comply with the open meeting law. We help to make sure the Board of Supervisors complies with it in their meetings. Their agendas are written in a way that the public will have a reasonable understanding of what we're asking the board to take action on. I always train people. I share a formula for writing the agenda wordings: who, what, where, when, why, and how much money. Any of those that apply to the item, if you put that in your agenda wording, then you're doing a pretty good job of meeting the open meeting law for transparency of the public. Of course, we have to make sure that the agendas are posted per the requirement of the statute. We are also involved in all kinds of things that are not necessarily cited in the statute per se, but the clerks are mentioned in just under 200 statutes. In Yuma County and the other counties, we don't necessarily are not involved in all of those things all the time, but in some of them. One thing that we are involved in is elections. Even though county has a separate elections department division, we are very much involved in that. Just one example, the governor does a proclamation calling elections in the state, and we have to make sure that those are published per the statutory requirement. As mentioned in the proclamation, in slightly different words, clerks are a liaison to the public of their governmental agencies. Just anything that anybody needs, it can go through the clerk's office and provide assistance in that way. In summary and finalization, an interesting note, I've mentioned this before when we've done the proclamations, the clerk position is the only position that is required by statute that is not an elected position. I always found that very interesting. I don't know why, but it is interesting. So that's it. I thank you for allowing us to recognize clerks, and we appreciate it very much. The clerks also include, well, they're not included as such, but our clerical staff has a big hand in helping us do clerk duties too. They post the agendas, they do a lot of other things related to clerk duties, so I wanted to recognize them as well. Thank you, and that's all I have today.
Thank you.
This is your time. Come on. And so does Ian.
And Desiree.
And Desiree.
Push it. Don't move away. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Should have worn that cap, that orange cap. Throw both of them. Supervisor Simmons. Oh, he's not there.
Yes.
Christy left already. I just want to thank, for all the work, Christy, Desiree, and Ian, all the work that you all do. But especially for I know I bother Desiree a lot, and she's always there and helping me out. Thank you very much. Thanks.
And I just want to say that the experience that I personally had, and I've been around for a long time, has been that without you all, things wouldn't go half as smoothly as they do. I mean, sometimes, especially me, I'm really forgetful. So everybody keeping me on track is a godsend. Guys, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I know we'll show it during budget time.
Yeah. We'll do our best, yes.
All right, moving on to item number 5. We have a presentation by Crystal Figueroa, Executive Director of Yuma Metropolitan Planning Organization, YMPO, regarding an update on YMPO's activities. Crystal, welcome.
Good morning, Chairman Porches and supervisors. Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Crystal Figueroa, YMPO Executive Director, and I am here to provide you with a brief summary of YMPO activities. But first, I would like to share information about us and for anyone who might not be familiar with what an MPO is. So what is an MPO? A Metropolitan Planning Organization is a transportation policy-making body responsible for overseeing the transportation planning process in the designated planning area, which in our case, this is the whole of Yuma County. MPOs are federally mandated for each urban area with a population of 50,000 or more. Yuma MPO was designated in 1983, which this marks our 40th year anniversary. And there are over 400 MPOs in the country, and we are 1 out of 8 MPOs in the state of Arizona. And we are the largest of the smallest and the smallest of the largest, if that makes sense. PAG and or Maricopa Association of Governments and Pima Association of Governments are the largest MPOs, which are considered transportation management agencies. And mainly, the MPO's role is to gather input from the community regarding the needs of transportation needs in the system. The MPO then develops a prioritized list of projects and keep it with that input. Any transportation projects that will use federal dollars to fund the project must first be listed in the MPO's plans before the agency constructing the projects may use the federal funds. Now, YMPO represents all levels of local government, local, state, and federal. Our policy-making body is composed of elected officials from the listed local jurisdictions, and ex officio members include our federal partners, Federal Highway Administration and Federal Transit Administration, YSEPTA, Caltrans, and the Environmental Public Agency, EPA. So although our funding is mostly federal, we work closely with ADOT, as most of our work we do is overseen by the state DOT. ADOT's governing body is the state's transportation board with 6 districts. City of Yuma Councilmember Knight is serving his last year in the state transportation board as chairman and representative of District 6. And just to cover a couple housekeeping items, YMPO's federally mandated items are the biannual Unified Planning Work Program, which we recently presented to the feds last Thursday for fiscal year 24 and 25. The Long Range Transportation Plan, which is our 20-year horizon plan in long range planning. Our Short Range Transit Program, which is the Transportation Improvement Program, which is a 5-year of the Long Range Transportation Plan. And the annual audit and Title VI report, and some FTA transit plans as well. Now, transportation funding for Arizona, although the newer 5-year transportation legislation known as the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill or also known as the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. EJA is providing many transportation funding opportunities through competitive grants. The major problem still persists, which is the lack of funding, primarily due to the fact that the fuel tax has not been increased over 30 years. It is based on a cents per gallon, and back in 1990, gas was $1.15 a gallon, and taxes were 37 cents per gallon at that time. Now, I should say that in 2023, the gas average for Arizona is about $4.50, and it's almost 4 times more than in 1990, but we're still paying 37 cents per gallon. Nowadays, vehicles are driving 70% more miles per gallon for the same 37 cents, and the wear and tear is the same or larger since more miles are driven. Overall, yes.
In between.
Yes.
You know, just to let everybody that's listening to this presentation, we don't control the tax.
Right.
You know, it's controlled by either the federal government or the state government. State government legislature hasn't done a tax increase
Exactly.
in gas for 40 years, or whatever that is, 1990, 30 years, right? So 33 years. So essentially, you know, and I know you're moving into the half-cent sales tax issue, but I mean, even that has to be approved by the legislature, so we'll get to it. Sorry.
Thank you. Overall, based on what we were receiving 30 years ago, we are only getting about fifth of what we were getting in 1990. And Supervisor Reyes is correct. Over 85% of Arizona already is receiving a half-cent sales tax targeted for transportation. This includes MAG, PAG, and Pinal County, including Flagstaff, as well as the city of Yuma. They have a half-cent sales tax, but still need more. The remaining 15% of the state, including the YMPO region, do not have a half-cent sales tax for transportation, as you all know. With the new transportation legislation federal bill, there has been an increased federal funding. However, those federal funds, including transit funds, must be matched with local funds, and sometimes it's not enough. Our region needs a sales tax just for transportation primarily, to provide matching funds, and really to have control over the transportation destiny, or have more options in transportation projects.
I gotta clear that out. That is not, a half-cent sales tax that is passed. It's a sales tax. It's not a gas tax. It's just a sales tax, which receipts go to fund transportation issues or projects.
Right.
It is not really a tax on gas. It's a tax on everything, which makes, you know, some of the entities kind of crazy is the fact that some of them already have a very high sales tax. So passing a half-cent tax, which is something else that we have to have the legislature approve before we do, it's something that seems a lot easier than said than done.
Right, I know it's a lot of work and a lot of it's a conversation that has been.
Voter issues, put it that way. You have to go out to an election and have people vote to tax themselves.
Oh,
So
yes.
that's pretty
Yes.
difficult.
Whole process is not easy. Definitely. Thank you, Supervisor Reyes. Now, in the meantime, the future of transportation funding in Yuma County, we are trying to take advantage of every funding opportunity out there. House Bill 2543 is for Greater Arizona Regional Transportation Projects, and the current current legislative effort for the state appropriations through the Rural Transportation Advocacy Council. The bill is sponsored by Tim Dunn. So far, is passed 2 committees, 2 in the House and 2 in the Senate. Supervisor Pancrazi and Councilmember Knight and myself had the opportunity to testify in front of the Senate Appropriations Committee, and at that point it passed 10-0. So it's looking very promising. So thank you, Supervisor, for making that trip with us. And other funding opportunities that we've taken advantage as well is the 2022 Defense Community Infrastructure Pilot Program Grant. This was for US 95, Welton Mohawk Canal to Aberdeen Road. They were awarded 13.3 million in 2022. The other funding source that has been pursued is a RACE grant for planning grant for design of US 95, and the outcome will be known on June 28th. And also the Arizona State Match Advantage Fund. So far, the city of San Luis has applied for this funding pot, and they were awarded 2.7 million in last month. And Yuma County has also applied for the funds for Avenue ED for reimbursement of design and other engineering services. This item will be presented at the April meeting this month, actually on Friday, and it's anticipated to be awarded $610,000. So we're hopeful that that will be approved by the State Transportation Board. And we've also asked ADOT to apply for the US 95 reimbursement of design and other engineering services. We've asked them for $2 million for that project. So that is pending status. And just to move forward, oh, sorry, I meant to click forward. But now we're in the YMPO transportation planning completed or ongoing projects. The projects completed in fiscal year 22-23 were the rail and heavy freight study, the San Luis origin destination study, the regional coordination plan, and the safety applications, which yield $18 million for safety projects in our region. And the future planning studies in our Unified Planning Work Program consist of the Regional Safety Plan Update Plan. This is also to keep pursuing safety funds for safety projects in our region, and also the Complete Street Study, the RFP 2026-4950 Long Range Transportation Plan. This is the largest study that, or plan that we update every few years, and it is the largest itself. The GIS traffic count map would help us. We already have traffic counts, but making the counts go live in our website would be helpful to our member agencies. And the last one is the roads of regional significance, which consists of evaluation of roads of regional significance for the next 20 years, such as I-8, US 95, SR 195, other possible regionally significant roads such as Avenue ED, County 14, 19th Avenue D, and possibly 3E, which might include transit routes or act as super arterials. So far, those are the projects that we have programmed. And next, the YMPO, and in collaboration with the Western Association of Governments, will be hosting the 24th Annual Rural Transportation Summit on October 18th and 19th. The summit is a signature event where elected officials and appointed local government officials, transportation professionals, convene, and dignified guests engage in solutions to improve transportation in Greater Arizona. Thank you very much. This completes my presentation. Do we have any questions?
Just one comment.
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. And that is the reason why WCAG is hosting this is because they're the planning agency for transportation for Mojave and La Paz.
Yes, the three other counties.
Designed as a metropolitan planning organization. They're just simply under the Western Arizona Council of Governments, which is a section that deals with transportation issues for those other counties. So that's why they're hosting that rule.
Yeah. So yes, so we are hosting it in collaboration, and all the MPO and COG directors usually host the event annually. This time it's in the Yuma region. So we're looking forward to having you all and keep discussing transportation in our region. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you. There we go.
Moving on to item number 6, presentation by Veronica Garcia, Grants Administrator, about Yuma County Emergency Rental Assistance Program activities, closeout, and success stories.
Yes. Good morning, Chairman Porchas, members of the board. My name is Veronica Garcia. I'm with the County Administration Grants Division. And I'm here to present to you some of our outcomes with the Emergency Rental Assistance Program that was incorporated here within the Yuma County. So COVID-19 brought not only, very, health emergencies and concerns, but it also brought a lot of financial stressors in the communities, not only, here in Yuma, the whole world, basically. There was, business closures, which resulted in layoffs and loss of income of families. School closures, which, resulted in increased utilities, food, internet expenses for many households. And this resulted in households getting behind in their bills, their housing. So the federal government incorporated the funding availability for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. This was incorporated in December of 2020. The first funding allocation was from the Federal Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021. And funding was received by Yuma County in January of 2021 for the ERA 1 assistance. There was a second allocation from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 in March of 2021 as well. This funding was provided to assist renters with up to 18 months of rental assistance and utility assistance. Families that were eligible for this assistance were families that were households that were low income and that were financially impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic and that were facing homelessness or any housing instability. This program, at the beginning, when the funds were received, we, weren't sure if we didn't have the capacity or the infrastructure to implement this program here within Yuma County, so we were undecisive if, going through it ourselves or giving it to the state so that they can incorporate it, but it was decided that Yuma County was going to keep the funds and we were going to make it work and we were going to make the infrastructure available so that we can get these dollars in within the community. Yuma County started taking applications for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program in March of 2021. Because we didn't have the infrastructure, we really needed to partner with the community and find the resources and do all the outreach possible to be able to get the word out there that this program was available to assist families in need. We did develop a very highly collaborative relationship with the Western Arizona Council of Governments. We actually contracted with WACOG to implement the program, and WACOG assisted Yuma County with all the intake of the applications of the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. We also, incorporated a lot of other partnerships with the city government, City of Yuma, City of San Luis, City of Somerton. We did partnerships with the utility companies so that we can get those payments out as quickly as possible. Yuma County Libraries assisted us with putting the flyers and information out there about the program. We also formed a partnership with the Arizona at Work. We provide training to their employees so that they can get the word out to the participants that were in job search programs. And we were also able to attend a few of their job fairs to be out there and provide the information about the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. The Crane School District also was able to assist us with putting out our flyers and their bulletins that go out to their families. The Yuma County Court Superior Court also, they hired a housing stability court navigator to be able to assist families that were going through the court eviction process and providing the resources available to assist them with prevention eviction programs. We also partner with the DES office and all of this outreach and strategies that were developed really increased the awareness of the ERA program and to people that really needed the assistance to apply for this program. It also, within this outreach, everything that we did was done both in English and Spanish language so that we could reach out, the limited English proficiency families. We did a lot of outreach in the South County, San Luis, Somerton as well to be able to promote the program. And of course, this, all of this outreach and efforts resulted in a decrease in evictions and homelessness, which was our main goal. Of course, eviction prevention, like I said, it was our main goal with the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. And we were, we did a prioritization of our applications, of the intake applications that we were taking in. And we were assisting households that had less than 50% of area median income, so the lowest income grade. And then we were also assisting families or households that had one or more individuals that were unemployed for more than 90 days. And those families or households that were in the eviction process. So we truly prioritized these families that were most in need to be able to help them. Our caseworkers, with WACOG and here with Yuma County, we were, the mediators basically between the landlords and the tenants, and helping those tenants stay in their homes, basically. We were able to pay or reimburse landlords for court costs if they were able to stop the court case. We were able to reimburse those, so that helped, with many stopping many evictions. We were also asking landlords, if they participated in the program, of course, not to evict a tenant for non-payment after 30 days of the assistance. And then if we did have any landlords that weren't participating in the program, usually most of our payments were directly paid to the landlords and the utility companies. But if there were any landlords that wouldn't or couldn't participate in the program, we were able to pay the tenants directly so that the tenant could pay the landlord directly. So that was available. Overall, we were, within 2 years of the program, we were able to assist 1,512 households or unique households with up to 18 months. The average of assistance was 8 months per household. We did have a little over 600 landlords participating in the program. And this program not only, helped the tenants, it was helping the landlords as well, because many landlords were facing themselves struggles because they weren't receiving the, the funds from their tenants. So this program really helped, both the tenants with a peace of mind, having a roof over their head, but also the landlords. Over the 2-year course of the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, we were able to disperse over $10 million to the Yuma community in rent and utility assistance. Just this graph just shows, the numbers basically in rental arrears. In total, we paid a little bit over $5 million in rental arrears for households. Rent would be, we could pay up to 3 months forward for rent. So we were able to pay up to $4 million in rent payments. Electricity, this helped, many families be able to have electricity in their home and not be disconnected. We paid over $800,000. We paid, gas, water, internet services, relocation expenses as well. If we had a family that had been evicted or was under unsafe housing conditions, we were able to assist them with relocation needs. So that was part of the program as well. So this program really, had a huge effect in the community. These are just some of the testimonials or that we received, throughout the program. There was a tenant that said, I received help when I was sick out of work, and let me tell you, it saved me. They were absolutely amazing to me and even paid 3 months ahead. It allowed me to keep getting chemo and not have to fear of the fear of eviction in my head. Another one said, basically it was a lifesaver. Without this help, I would have become homeless. Another one said, I was on the verge of losing our home that we rent. The rental program also helped me with my utilities as well. I was able to keep working and provide for my children without worry of who needed to be paid the most, who would take a partial payment, etc. I don't know where I would have been without the assistance. So this truly, shows that the program, truly helped. Keeping the program local, truly helped. I know at the beginning, like I mentioned, we weren't sure if to keep it here or to, give it to DS, but just as far as, we were looking at the numbers, and over 70% of applications were actually in-person applications. We did establish a portal online, but, most people, wanted the in-person assistance, or somebody to talk to over the phone, or somebody to go in person to talk to. So it really helped that we're able to keep this program local. I do want to we do have a testimonial, in-person testimonial from one of our tenants that received assistance. We have Mary Rodriguez here. She just wanted to give you guys a little information about how the program helped them.
Good morning.
Good morning, Yuma County Board of Supervisors Administration. My name is Mary Leah Rodriguez. I'm a single mother of two. I was attendant at Carol Walker Family Partnership Apartment Complex located at 326 West 17th Place in Yuma, Arizona. Due to the hardship of finding a sitter when all the daycares and the schools closed, it was difficult to find that balance, go to work, care for the kids. And as a result, I lost both my part-time jobs. As you can imagine, the bills started to pile up. I applied for the COVID-19 Emergency Rental Utility Assistance on March 1st, 2022, through the helpful staff of WACOG. The funds were received May 19th, 2022, for back and forward rent in the amount of $1,845, plus one utility bill in the amount of $437.41, which grossed into $2,282.41. Once my landlord had received the payment, he was able to pay his property taxes, hire professional local business tree trimmers to take care of our landscape, and upgrade some of my neighbors' AC units. This domino effect of spending federal funds in the Yuma area keeps the money circulating, and I saw it firsthand. And it only made our community stronger. On behalf of me and my small family, thank you for the opportunity to personally thank you. And I would like, this is my voice of gratitude to all of you. And thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes my presentation. Any questions?
You know, it's just so wonderful to hear testimonies like that, and I know it helped many here in Yuma County. Thank you for all your work. Without, like Mr. Reyes said earlier, staff, it's the key to many programs that we have here in Yuma County. Thank you.
Thank you all for supporting the program, and I do want to thank all the staff again with the grants division, our admin staff here, and the finance staff as well, because they had a lot of workload with all the payments that we had.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 7, presentation of the county line, the Yuma 77.
Welcome to this special edition of the County Line, where we will be introducing the nominees for the 2022 Safety Excellence Award, Courts Employee of the Year, and the Yuma County Employee of the Year. This is your County Line. We want to begin congratulating the county employees who have been nominated for the Safety Excellence Award. These individuals have shown a deep commitment to ensuring the safety of our community, and we're proud to have them working for Yuma County. Denise Butler, Finance. Javier Coronado, Development Services. Nayeli Flores, Human Resources. Yvette Madrid, Treasurer. Sandra Gutierrez, Library. Felicia Vidal, Public Defender. Sylvester Curiel, Library. Minnie Samaniego, Justice of the Peace 2. Roberto Gutierrez, Public Works. Juana Weiland, Treasurer. Jose Lopez, Public Fiduciary. Next, we would like to recognize the nominees for the Court's Employee of the Year. These 4 outstanding individuals have demonstrated exceptional dedication, skill, and professionalism in their work. Henry Bo Gonzalez is a Juvenile Justice Center probation supervisor who showed outstanding performance in 2022. Despite staffing challenges, he went above and beyond his duties, leading, innovating, and serving.
We had a successful year of community impact, and that's where our work is measured most. And Bo was the driver of so many of our projects.
His team's successful fentanyl awareness campaign earned the court recognition, and he was honored with the Probation Supervisor of the Year award by the Arizona Chief Probation Officers Association for his remarkable work. Lucero Santana is an adult probation officer too at Yuma County Adult Probation. She was promoted from PO1 to PO2. Her exceptional work ethic and teamwork abilities led to her nomination for Court Employee of the Year.
She does extra duties beside her basic job. She's an emergency response team member for the department. She's an EPICS coach. And she's part of 2 different programs, our drug court program and our veterans court program as an officer.
Lucero attends court hearings and meetings, arranges transportation for probationers to treatment, and collaborates with community agencies. Manuel Sarti is an exemplary employee of Yuma County Superior Court. He is passionate about his work, taking it seriously while still displaying a friendly demeanor.
Folks come in here, they're worried, scared, upset. He goes that extra mile just to talk to them, find out what's wrong, and then help them any which way they can. Especially our folks that don't speak English. This place can be very intimidating. But Manny he's very compassionate with these folks and takes that time to help them, and sometimes just take them where they need to go as opposed to just directing them.
He is an experienced firearms instructor and armorer, and assists other Yuma County courts in ensuring their officers meet the same state standards. He volunteers for court functions and is regularly requested to attend special events because of his character and work ethic. Scarlett Harper, Chief Clerk Justice Court. Scarlett is a valuable member of the South County Justice Court who has successfully organized intern projects. These projects have not only provided essential training to the interns, but have also supported existing staff.
She is such an asset, not only to the court, but to the county. I mean, with the employees, she's a mentor. She knows everything. She knows her way around the court system. She was a clerk over at Muni, then came over to JP. So there's an immense amount of knowledge, wealth that she has.
Scarlett attended Yuma County Supermanager training to enhance organization and customer service. The positive impact of the intern program was highlighted in an Arizona at Work newsletter. Finally, we're pleased to announce the 3 county employees who have been nominated for County Employee of the Year. These nominees are among the best and brightest in our workforce, and we're honored to have them serving our community. Robert Terbilcock is a senior attorney in the Office of the Yuma County Public Defender, who has been taking on multiple roles, including appellate attorney and handling serious felony trial cases, despite the department's open vacancies.
Last year, during 2022, we were down 4 lawyers. So Rob devised a plan to go to 5 law schools in 5 days in Ohio and Michigan. And because of that recruiting trip, we've had 4 or 5 active leads that are hopefully going to join us this year.
His work has been invaluable by using his experience as both a prosecutor and defense attorney to handle cases from both practice areas, resulting in a successful appellate case that changed the state of law and reflected well on Yuma County. Sarah Perius, Treasury Administrator. Sarah Perius is an exemplary Treasury Administrator for Yuma County, assisting all departments, intergovernmental agencies, schools, and special districts with her strong communication skills and knowledge of accounting.
Since day one, nearly 10 years ago, she has gone above and beyond every day as our county treasury administrator. Her awesome high-quality job performance, and commitment to excellence justify this long overdue nomination.
Her organizational skills and attention to detail are vital for the county's banking procedures, and she is responsible for the day-to-day oversight of 100,000 treasury accounts. Sylvester Curiel, IT Manager, Library District. For over 20 years, Sylvester has been with the library and has used his knowledge of information technology to progress from a Library Assistant 1 in circulation to the IT Manager.
Throughout this past year or so, he's saved the library upwards towards $30,000 by a lot of the improvements in the technology that we're using.
These projects included reviewing maintenance contracts and finding new vendors for computer software, websites, and other day-to-day tasks. He has also extended the life of computers and chosen efficient vendors and software. Congratulations to all of the nominees. The winners of each category will be announced at the 2022 Yuma County Annual Employee Recognition Ceremony, which will take place on Wednesday, April 19th at the City of Yuma Historic Art Theater. We'd like to thank you for joining us for this County Line. If you've missed any of our past episodes, you can watch them on yumacountyaz.gov/VOD. We'll see you on the next County Line.
All right. Moving on to consent agenda. Consent calendar. Item number 1, assessors approved tax roll corrections as listed in batch dated April 17, 2023. Item number 2, financial services. Approve the accounts payable demands dispersed in the amount of $3,355,309.70. Item number 3, clerk of the board, action to recommend state approval of a special event liquor license application. Item number 4, county administration, adopt budget amendment resolution number 23-04. And item number 5, public works, to approve a contract between the Yuma County Department of Public Works and Arizona Department of Corrections to provide Yuma County Department of Public Works with a labor force to support the maintenance of county roadways and repair.
I'll make a motion, we'll go ahead and approve the consent calendars 1 through 6.
I will second that.
1 through 5.
1 through 5.
1 through 5.
There's a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Wow.
All
Motion
right,
carries. That's delay. All right. I'll go ahead and move on to, and I'll go ahead and recess the Yuma County Board of Supervisors and convene as the Yuma County Housing Governing Board, and I'll call on Virginia Garcia.
Yeah, this where supervisor sound.
There's a,
There's one up here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't take his hat, he's really.
Bienvenida, pásale acá. Pásale. Welcome, Virginia, to the board, to the housing board. And I'll go ahead and move on to item number 1, housing, conduct a public hearing to receive public comment on the Yuma County Housing Department Public Housing Agency Annual Plan, FSS Action Plan, Section and Administration Plan, and ACOP, followed by action to adopt resolution number 2023-17, approving submission of the plans and directing staff to attach all comments received this data to the plans. I'll go ahead and open the call to the public, or, I mean, public hearing, but we'll have Mr. Chuy Roldan.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. It's just public hearing, something that we do every year, so, something that HUD mandates us to do, so this is what it is.
Any questions for Jesus?
No. If you open it up,
I'll go ahead and open to the public. Seeing none, go ahead, bring it back to the board.
Make a motion to approve item as presented.
Second. Oh, I'm sorry.
Regina. Second, you second. You second.
All right, there's a motion and a second to approve the housing item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That
Thank
was
you,
quick,
Virginia.
Virginia.
That was quick. Thank you, Virginia.
Does she get a per diem?
Thank you.
You should.
And I'll reconvene back as the Board of Supervisors. And we'll move on to item number 1 on engineering. Discussion and possible action to allocate all or a portion of the ARPA located assistance and tribal consistency fund, public lands funds for county fiscal year 2023-24 for road maintenance and CIP projects.
So moved. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Second, Frank.
I think we had a long-term planning session.
Chairman, Porches, members of the board, Frank Sanchez, county engineer. I'm here with Kelly Fricke, interim public works director. I have a small presentation on where I'm going to go over the projects that we've been able to fund and that we're currently working on with the board's approval of the previous LATCF funding that the board approved last October. And also have a couple slides on the challenges that we're facing with maintenance and CIP projects and the need for additional funding for with the second round of LATCF funding. So currently, we're in the process, or Public Works is in the process of completing 13.5 miles of chip seals. They're also looking at completing 740,000 square yards of slurry seals, which equates to approximately 47 miles that they're doing. They're also working on completing 6 miles of fog seals. Those were some of the maintenance items that were identified through the first round of funding. As for CIP, we're looking at the Antelope Palomas low flow crossing. We bid that project out. It was way over budget. And so we had to go back and redesign it and rebid it. And actually, we just had bid openings. We're going to bring that on May 1st to the board for approval, but it actually came in within budget now. And so we're also working with ADOT on finalizing design contracts for the 9 HSIP projects that are located within the county. Some of those fundings are a little bit over what those HSIP projects were capped at. So we're going to be using some of that LATCF funding to cover those costs. So back in 2021, the board approved a resolution with its intent to keep Yuma County roadways at a pavement condition index at 60% or higher. Those are the county paved roadways. In addition, the backlog of paved roads that are under PCIs of 40, try to keep those at 20%. We just heard the executive director for a YMPO indicate, just how much money, how far we can get with what we used to do before. The HERF revenues are not increasing, and they're not keeping up with the cost of inflation of materials and construction. This slide just shows the increase that Public Works is seeing on materials that they use to maintain our public roads. It's been going up. Gas is going up, so it affects all these materials.
What's GSB-88?
They use that for fog sealing.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the increase that you can see. So for fiscal year 23-24, we're not sure what that's going to look like yet. Hopefully, maybe it levels off. So this second round of LATCF funding would go a long way to ensure we continue to meet the PCI goals established by the board and to execute the proposed CIP program.
One more question.
Yes.
What is CSSIH? I know that says highway.
That's for
but
chip sealed, right? It's a tack oil.
The oil?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That's the biggest increase.
So for next year, Public Works is programming in order to execute that maintenance program. They're looking at 29 miles of chip seals. They're programming 729 square yards or approximately 44 miles of slurry seals, 8.3 miles of fog seals. As part of the CIP program, we just had a bid opening for the North Frontage Road. That project came in 1.2 million over budget.
Whoa.
And so we're looking at using some of these funds to try to offset those costs. And again, as I indicated, the HSIP projects, those projects when they get submitted are capped. And so anything that exceeds those costs, the county is responsible 100%. And so right now we're initiating the design contracts for County 14th and 4E and the County 11th Street and Avenue G roadway realignment. Those design costs already are exceeding the capped amount for those projects. Just real quick, right here we show a couple slides put together by our budget director, Tony. The slide on the left shows the fund balance. If we don't get any funding, we're going to be short roughly just under $3 million. Oop. There we go. Now, with the allocation of the LATCF funding, we can see that the fund balance will be in the positive and actually assist us in continuing to maintain the roads. And we have a fund balance going forward for the following year to be able to execute that maintenance program. So in summary, there's a shortfall with Public Works. There's a shortfall on our CIP program. So LATCF will assist in delivering and completing the pavement maintenance program and help deliver the CIP program. Just a little caveat there, some of that money that is allocated, financial services is requiring a 10% for financial services and audits. So we're looking at reserving $600,000 for those for those services. And so,
is it an outside company that comes in and does an audit?
my understanding is their own staff.
Okay.
You don't. Yeah, when you talk about miles of chip seal and you talk about miles of fog seal, you're not really asking us today to decide which ones, right? You've got a list.
Public Works has a list of the roads that need those services.
When you get a chance, and just send me that list. I'd like to find out. Just to make sure most of them are my district, but I didn't want to say that openly because I know Simmons is listening. But I see a lot of the projects are pretty much projects that serve some of the largest non-metropolitan areas that we've got, which is the foothills and those outlying areas. But there's a lot of needs everywhere in the county, as I'm pretty much aware.
Mr. Chairman?
Right.
Okay. Didn't want to cut you off, sorry. As far as the 600,000,
Yeah.
when we already have them on staff and we already have them being paid, why do we have to set aside additional funds? That doesn't make sense.
That's why I asked if it was an outside company.
You're passing that one to me.
Or-
Don't remember that.
or-
Mr. Vice Chairman, 10% for the financial services and audit is generally considered best practice. It's something they like to see the organizations do that receive these funds. The auditors do like to see that, but I would have to defer to Finance Director Gil Villegas for more background on that.
Because if it's our own people doing it,
It is our own people.
and it's all in-house,
Then why should we be paying?
why can't we
extra?
pave more roads?
I
And the
agree.
board does have the authority to give different action related to that if it so chooses.
We do? Okay.
That way Tony gets a little bit, like a half mile in San Luis.
You don't set aside the funds to pay for the staff time. We have to set them aside in the general.
But they're
fund.
already,
No, but I know, but look, either you pay them through a fund like this, or you pay them in the general fund.
Right.
The general fund is pretty difficult to manage, while this is funding that comes with that caveat on that you have to audit. And if you do it yourself or you do it on outside agents, you have to pay someone to do it. Even internally, you have to pay someone to do it. I never think of getting any federal funds without the money to audit. They have to be audited. There's no way to get around that requirement that means anything. And to me, if you don't get the money with the funding, you have to come up with the money yourself. And I really think that during this budgetary year, you're going to find out that general fund monies, you need them to be able to cover those additional costs that we will probably get into if we increase the salaries as much as we're looking into. This will be a break this year that you get that fund from someone else.
Yeah, this
And I
is the
know
last
a
year.
mile would mean a lot anywhere, but when it comes to general funds or general budget, it's really tough to get those monies because they're recurring money. You have to
hey, no
set-
roads for you, Tony.
And Mr. Chairman, Finance Director Gil Villegas just joined us if you wanted further detail on that.
Gil?
Chairman, members of the board, Gil Villegas, Chief Financial Officer. I believe the question is in regards to the 10%, $600,000. Like Ian explained it, that's common practice that we do. We set aside for administrative costs. We're not committed to it. We don't have to have it, and those funds can always be reappropriated to whatever project the board might like. We're just earmarking the funds in the event that we have any of those qualified expenditures that might not be part of the entire program per se, give us a little more flexibility so we can use those funds as well.
I have another idea that, you can't put in contingency funding into any of these things, but as you found out through that long-term planning process, everything is going up. So even if you thought you could do this many miles or this many streets or you fog seal this much, you probably won't be able to. So it'd be nice to count with that additional fund to use to cover some of those shortfalls. Otherwise, and you can't put it in on contingency because that line item doesn't exist. So leaving it on audit and changing it if you want to, or if you feel the need to, it can be done at a later date. But setting it aside right now assures you have at least $700,000 to be able to adjust.
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Reyes, and that's exactly the intention, the contingency that we can have those funds. Also the flexibility for us to use those funds on, or the projects that might not be eligible for the entire program.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Gil.
Yeah, and I just see it as, or when each department presents their budget, so is this above the budget? Or are the what they required, like for the finance department?
They're above,
Gil.
they're above or within.
I mean, do you, this money, the 10%, is it included in the budget, in your budget?
The fund, no, not in my departmental budget, no. It would be nice, but no. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
So I understand if we use it for an audit, but I mean, if this is, when we get something like this, does it require extra work or extra time?
It's part of the managing that program. Whatever it's going to require us to do it, if it gets audited, if it gets picked, which is going to be audited by the auditors that we have in current fiscal year, there's going to be a fee assigned to that program. so we can single out that fee and charge that particular program for that. The funds are within its own fund. They're not going to be moved. They stay within that fund, in the fund balance. Like the Supervisor Reyes said, we don't have the option to put a contingency, so we earmark these funds for those type of expenditures. But they are not in my financial services department.
If it gets close to the end of the year and we don't find a need for it, we can always add more money to the HERF fund.
Yeah.
From that.
Pay
Well,
some more streets.
and that's where I wanted to go, because, you know, and I understand every department, when there's administration cost has gotten really interested with every entity. And it's just, I just see it as add more money for that department or whatever, but we also need to start paying more attention on budgets, because everybody presents their budget, this is what you want or need, but if to me, if I don't see more work or extra time on the employees, then they're already there, that they're getting paid. Unless if it's cost on things that we don't have, it's totally acceptable, but that money is supposed to be used for the roads. And I've always said it with the HERF fund, it's money for the HERF, for the roads, and we gotta have a balance of how many people or staff are getting paid from the HERF. Because it's, with every entity, it's money that goes to staff, and sometimes it's not balanced. I said, that's when I question, do we really need that many staff for that program? Because that money, it's not going back to the people that pay the taxes. So we just need to start really looking into that, because I don't want to get off balance and saying, certain 30% of that HERF money, that revenue that we're getting, it's going into staff, when we only need maybe a 20% of staff of that money that should be going to staff.
And I like to remind everybody, we're talking about special funds. We're talking about one-time shots. We're not talking about getting $6 million or $7 million next year after that. So you can't make it part of the recurring budget, is what I'm trying to get to. So it's a one-time shot that you get, it's actually a two-time shot. You got some right here. So it's a two-time shot. So I do want to caution everyone to start planning with it, staff, which is what the chairman is referring to. But I do want to get a heads up, if we get to the end of the year and you see you're not going to use that much, or you see you're not going to use any of it, to bring it back to the budget so we can spend it on where it should be spent, which is the road improvement or road maintenance, okay?
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Reyes, that's exactly the intention.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
Is a PowerPoint done?
We're done. Questions?
No questions. We had plenty of. I'll make a motion. Go ahead and approve the allocation of the portion of the ARPA, or the full portion of the ARPA Local Assistance Fund to county fiscal year 23-24 road maintenance and CIP projects.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve the funds, the ARPA funds, to the county for public roads, maintenance, and CIP projects. Any other comments?
Just one comment.
You go ahead.
Are we all making sure that the next item is covered, right? This is part of the next item.
Correct.
Actually. It's a big part of the next item.
That's why we set it up
We need
that way.
so we can actually approve the other contract. Otherwise, we'd have to come up with money from somewhere else.
Correct.
So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Frank. Item number 2, discussion and possible action to award the construction contract for the I-8 North Frontage Road, Avenue 10E to Fortuna Road, CIP number 1.1302, and Los Amigos in Southern Sands Drainage and Pavement Improvement, CIP number 1.1901 and 3.1902 to DPE Construction, Inc. in the amount of $7.275 million, and authorize the county engineer to sign the construction contract.
Chairman Porches, members of the board, Frank Sanchez, county engineer. We normally have these type of items on consent. They're usually budgeted, but as Supervisor Reyes pointed out, we needed the previous item to be approved before we could approve this. So now we're just bringing it up.
Since I made a motion to approve the previous item, I'll make a motion to approve this item as presented.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve item number 2 as presented. Any comments or no questions?
Mr. Chair and Frank, I drove that road the other day. I helped at a golf tournament at Foothills, and so I came back the frontage road, and oh my goodness, the setback for all those mobile, those mobile home parks, that road's going to be quite a feat. It'll be, and it's so desperately needed out there in the foothills. So
it's
good.
Right away is acquired for the ultimate
Yeah.
ultimate widening. So
Now,
yes,
did we have to pay for the road, for the walls to be moved? Okay.
correct.
All right. Any opposed? Or is all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
motion carries. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Moving on to planning and zoning agenda. Regular public hearing, item number 1, development services. Public hearing rezoning case number 22-28. Christopher Robbins, agent for Maha LLC, requests the rezoning of a parcel 15,000 square feet in size from manufacturing home subdivision, 10,000 square feet minimum, and low-density residential, 20,000 square feet minimum, to manufacturing home subdivision, 6,000 square feet minimum. Assessor's parcel number 632-43-075, located in the south side of Columbia Avenue, approximately 800 feet east of Center Street, Yuma, Arizona. Javier.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Javier Barraza, Senior Planner, presented the rezoning case 22-28. The project site is located in the city of Yuma general plan area. The intent of the applicant is to split the property into 2 parcels. This is the vicinity and zoning map showing the subject parcels. Parcel 75 crosshatch access on the north along Columbia Avenue, which is an improved road. Currently, the property is a vacant parcel, and it's part of the Pick and Grove Garden subdivision that was recorded in 1930. There's a United States reclamation easement taking part of the west side of the subject parcel.
That little corner, huh?
That little corner will be the zoning MHS 10. In the next slide, I will show where the easement runs through the parcel. This property is highlighted in yellow, zone MHS-10. Also, the property just east of the subject parcel. Parcels on the north, east, and south are R120, low-density residential, 20,000 square foot minimum. This is an aerial view. Outlined in red and the proposed split, parcel A and parcel B. The dashed blue line depicts the location of the easement. That will take most of the, approximately 50% of proposed parcel A. There's, well, this is a view looking south of the subject property from the north property line. Now looking west at Columbia Avenue from the north of the property line, subject parcel. Outlined in yellow is the subject parcel. We are showing on the north Columbia Avenue, and how on the east, the right of the screen, you will see the end of the road. There's some sort of barricade and like a berm. There's also.
I can't see.
Let
With your little.
me see if I.
Oh, they closed off the street?
Staff doesn't know, Public Works doesn't know when was that closed or who built that. There's a right of way along that portion right there. It's public right of way. Also, that portion of Glen, it's also blocked. And there's there's an irrigation east ditch right here. Another use.
Now, does this get irrigation?
Not the subject parcel. And staff doesn't know if the irrigation ditch is used or gets water. We received no comments from the Yuma County Water Users Association, which I
Well, okay, because Pecan Grove Gardens is supposed to be part of the Yuma Valley Irrigation District. And if it's part of the Yuma Valley Irrigation District, then those parcels should have access to water. And if they don't have access to water, then they should have been able to sell it back to the city or give it back to, is this a city? It's not in the city,
No, it's
but
not in
it's,
the city.
okay.
It's-
Well, then
it's
it
in the
should have
county.
access to irrigation. And if it doesn't, then it needs to somehow, we need to somehow get the Yuma Valley Irrigation District to provide irrigation to that area because it's part of their district.
Good luck. I'm
Drill
just-
a well.
That's,
Chairman, they're in city water. They will.
They're in city.
yeah.
They've been switched over to city water and city sewer, huh?
Yep.
Are they still paying the fee? Can you tell me if they're paying the irrigation fee for water?
There's a vacant parcel, and since they're getting their water from the city, so.
I know, but
Yeah, but
it doesn't make any difference. Many of these people are still paying for the irrigation services that they're not receiving. And I have a real problem with them having to pay for irrigation services that they're not receiving through, Yuma Valley Irrigation.
A better question would be, to me, not whether the people want to because they're forced to. The better question would be, is the city of Yuma or the city of San Luis or something, whatever, willing to take that fee on to get the water rights for that property? So that's kind of a question that applies to almost everywhere that cities have taken over the water delivery systems. I mean, people all over the county belong to some sort of water irrigation district where they pay by the acre feet of water. Now, that's been an issue for decades. That is solved or was solved by having the municipalities buy off the water system. So the question here is this gentleman or is this applicant sold this property, sold this water rights yet, or is it, or do you know at all? Is there a question that's asked?
Mr. Chairman,
To be somewhere. We need some sort of
Chairman,
verification.
at this point, staff doesn't know.
I don't think you ask that question in an application. And it behooves the owner to ask whether he can.
Well,
Cannot. And I explain why, Mayor, Chairman. The problem is when you split it in two, every one of those
Yes.
gets to pay 1 acre, at least 1 acre fee. Now, this one seems to be,
15,000 square feet minimum.
so that means if you divide that in two, now you get two payments to the one district.
Yes.
So, yes, I think a word of caution to these people about it. Well, it's sort of like a disclosure statement that should be in areas like this that have both city services and have to pay an irrigation fee because they have access to water. Even if they don't have access to water,
They don't.
they will have to pay a fee to the county.
That to the county water, the Yuma Valley water users, that to me is a big issue in all of those county island, in all of the county islands. And to me that they need to be able to sell it to the city of Yuma. And if they haven't, they need to do that so that they aren't.
Aware of it. I don't think you can force them to sell it or, whatever. I think that they should be made aware of it. It's one of those situations where just a simple disclosure statement about water rights would suffice as far as I'm concerned, because we don't have anything we can do. And there's nothing that, that they have the authority the cities do and somebody else does, but we don't buy water rights. And the cities that do should let their, future residents know that.
Thank you.
If they have this kind of issue.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the applicant, they're here, probably now they're aware that they should research that concern.
well, they're just for information, every city will take it.
I know they
But you
will.
gotta have zero balance.
You have to have a zero balance on your
They won't take it
irrigation.
if you owe, so you gotta pay it
Mhm.
and then they'll take it and you won't owe anymore.
Thank you.
But-
That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to get at,
So
is that
they-
that's the case, and that have they already done it, or,
Well, I'm pretty sure now they're aware, so they're hearing us.
Okay, it's very simple. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Staff received the following: one property owner in opposition within the zoning notification area. City of Yuma property designated low-density residential in the City of Yuma general plan. Bureau of Reclamation is commented the following: any development within the Yuma Mesa conduit and drainage well will require the Bureau of Reclamation's review and consent agreement to protect their facilities. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval of rezoning case number 22-28, subject to the following performance condition. Within 60 days of board approval, the owner area shall do the following: provide an ARS 12-1134 waiver, record an infrastructure disclosure statement, and record a schedule for development disclosure statement, as well as the following schedule for development. Within 1 year of board approval by the board, the property shall be split by means of a land division permit pursuant to section 507.00 of the Yuma County zoning ordinance. And that map depicts the location of the property in opposition. And with that, Mr. Chairman, concludes staff's presentation. Ready for questions.
I am. Mr. Chair, what is the portion that belongs to the Bureau?
Quick. Right there in the dashed line.
This side of to the left or to the right?
Yeah, to the left.
To the left, from
A.
the property line all the way over.
Yeah, outlined in red is the proposed split, and kind of in a diagonal, at an angle of, the west. Mr. Chairman, it's an easement. It's an easement.
So are they allowed to build on it? No.
Bureau of Reclamation was not very clear, but they would like to review any application. Don't know if they will allow to be within their easement or some encroachment or away from the easement.
Wow.
They would like to review any permit application.
So in past history, the Bureau has not allowed
Mr. Chairman,
building on their property, correct?
But usually they're not allowed to build on the easement or within. Yes.
Chairman Porches, members of the board, Supervisor Pancrezi, that's the USBR right away for the Yuma Mesa conduit. And so there's a pipeline that goes right through there. I think it's a 66-inch pipeline.
Okay.
So they're very particular of what they allow to be placed on that easement.
Okay. So yeah.
Definitely no building structure, but they'll allow some type of fencing and
Something that won't interfere. And is that something that's disclosed if somebody buys that property? I mean, how is somebody going to know that they can't build on 3/4 of the property?
Mr. Chairman, at the time of the land division permit is processed, it will be showed on the land division permit. Also, staff will add notes in that respect once the parcel is created, if approved.
So whoever buys this property will know that they can't build on half of it.
That's right.
They will be aware that, correct, Mr. Chairman.
So if they do build on it, they know they have to tear it down, or they have to get Bureau's approval, or.
Or they will need to contact the Bureau of Reclamation to see what they can do.
I just hesitate splitting that property with that great big old.
All right.
half of it not
I'll
usable.
go ahead and now open it up to the public. None. All right, bring it back to the board.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, we approve the item as presented. I think the owner or representative is present to listen to our concerns and pass them on to the buyers, or the actual owner, excuse me. We're concerned that, if you split it in two like you want to, that if you sell half of it, that the person that you sell it to is aware that there are some restrictions placed on the property that makes building something on top of an easement somewhat difficult, but I'm sure that they're going to find out if they try to build anything on it. All right, that's it.
I have one more question. Have you found out for me whether or not the taxes are paid on it?
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Pancrezi, yes, they pay the taxes for 2023. Confirmed.
They're incurred. Thank you.
All right, there's a motion and
I'll second it.
there's a second. Any more questions or concerns? None, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for that. Moving on to legislative issues.
Don't everybody run off.
Don't everybody leave.
Man.
Hey,
Bye,
Alex,
guys.
you gotta make your reports a little more entertaining to people.
We're waiting for my update.
Yeah, they were waiting for your update, but give up. Maggie, you're not allowed to leave.
Bye, Maggie. Thank you.
Well, that's your job.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Alejandro Figueroa, Economic Development and Intergovernmental Affairs for Yuma County. Today is the 99th day of the session. Governor Hobbs has signed 53 bills and vetoed 48. The state legislature has sent 19 memorials and resolutions to the Secretary of State. Last week ended with both chambers of the legislature taking a break until Tuesday, April 24th, and with 2 fewer sitting legislators. In a 46-13 vote, the Arizona House of Representatives voted to expel Representative Liz Harris from the body. Harris was found guilty of ethics violations and disorderly behavior for raging a speaker at a public hearing who falsely accused Democratic and Republican lawmakers of taking bribes from a drug cartel. The expulsion reduces the Republican House majority to 39 over 29 Democrats. Since 31 votes are required to advance legislation, the House and the Senate intend to recess from April 14, last Friday, through April 25th, to allow time for the Republican lawmaker to be replaced. The break, we hope, will permit focused budget discussions to continue. Also last week, State Senator Teran resigned to run for for Arizona's 3rd Congressional District, the seat currently held by Congressman Ruben Gallego, who plans to run for U.S. Senate in 2024. Obviously, we're going to go beyond the 100-day. The sign die is not going to happen within the 100 days, as it hasn't happened in the last maybe 20, 30 years. I'll go into detail on 3 bills that have been discussed lately. HB 2483, which is the backyard fowl regulation prohibition. It's moving forward as a striker in the Senate. The bill would prohibit counties and municipalities from adopting any law, ordinance, or other regulation that prohibits a resident of a single-family detached residence that is 1/2 acre or less in size from keeping fowl in the backyard of the property. Counties and municipalities are currently allowed to establish specified regulations on fowl, including restricting the number of fowl and prohibiting a resident from keeping male fowl, including roosters. So right now it's waiting to be heard on the Senate.
Isn't there, Mr. Chair and Alejandro, isn't there a limit on how many fowl you can have, and whether or not there's a male?
Right there, right now, Chairman Supervisor Pancrasi, right now there is, but this bill would prohibit counties and municipalities from establishing any limits on that.
Oh my goodness! So I could have 25 chickens in my backyard, and nobody could say a word. And I could have a rooster, and nobody could say a word.
At this point with that bill, yeah, that will be the issue.
In the city or in the county?
Anywhere in the state of Arizona, as long, it specifically states regulation that prohibits a resident of a single-family detached residence that is 1/2 acre or less in size.
Oh my goodness! So any city lot, I could have next door neighbors that have 20 chickens and a rooster, and I couldn't do anything about it.
That is my understanding, Supervisor Pancrasi, yes.
Oh, that's crazy. Sorry.
Eggs are expensive.
Well, not only that, but the smell. Do you have any idea what the smell would be if somebody had 20 chickens?
I got 30 chickens.
Yeah, but you live on more than half an acre.
They don't smell. They don't smell that much.
They don't smell.
No.
Okay. Wow.
So Mr. Chairman, moving on to Proposition 400.
Sorry.
Per Supervisor Pancrasi's request, I've looked into it. So SB 1246, Transportation and Infrastructure, is now known as Proposition 400. Everything is waiting to The proposition is waiting to be given a spot on the House's consent calendar for a potential review and vote by the Committee of the Whole, after being approved by both majority and minority caucuses in the House. The bill would refer a measure to the ballot to continue a half-cent sales tax approved by Maricopa voters in 2004, but set to expire in 2025. That plan would allocate 52% of the revenue for freeways and other routes in the state highway system, 22% for arterial streets and regional programs, and 26% for public transportation. If Proposition 400 was not to be enacted into law, it would mean more competition for in the state for infrastructure and transportation existing resources, as Maricopa County would be losing a dedicated funding stream.
Yeah, they'd be going after the HERF funds. Go ahead.
So it's still being discussed right now.
So it hasn't even gotten to the floor on either house.
And it went through the Senate, but now the House has a strike bill, strike everything on it. So it's going to wait for it to be heard on the House's Committee of the Whole and then to the floor.
I thought all committees were done.
Not on the strike everything bills, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So it still has to go to the governor if it makes it, and then to the ballot. On HB 2669, the biosolids bill, our bill, Representative Dunn convened a stakeholder meeting that included Yuma County, CSA, City of Phoenix, and ACTEC, among others, to discuss a potential amendment to the bill recommended by ADQ before it goes to the floor. The CSA, Yuma County, including Supervisor Pancrase, met with Senator Sundaration to give her an update on the bill, and we're currently working to set up meetings with Senator Kerr and Senator Fernandez as soon as they come back from the break. Just so you know, the amendment just specifies that any commercial or residential septage should be treated to the level that biosolids is. So right now, what we know is happening is a lot of that septage that this company is bringing over is not treated to the level that biosolids is. So they're just going to,
It's raw
Right.
sewage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Federal update. NACO sent a letter to congressional leadership of the U.S. House and Senate Agriculture Committees calling for the inclusion of key county priorities in the 2023 Farm Bill. With the current legislation set to expire on September 30th of this year, Congress is working to draft a new 5-year Farm Bill. So last time it got approved in 2008, it authorized $428 billion in funding for on a 5-year basis for a broad range of programs important to counties. And NACO was hoping to get the new Farm Bill to adopt a grant-based funding structures instead of direct and guaranteed loans, providing at least $1 billion in mandatory funding for grants-based rural capacity building program, fully extending good neighborhood authority for counties, and maintaining or increasing funding levels for the Farm Bill conservation programs, such as the Regional Conservation Partnership Program and others. I could go on a list of different programs that they fund.
Mr. Chair and Alejandro, are any of our requests being considered extension of H2A for additional number of years other than 3 years, separating it from dairy and all that? Is that in the Farm Bill?
Not to my understanding, but I'm going to keep pushing on that. Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
And lastly, on the international border affairs update, Chairman Porches, as you know, met with Consul Dulce Maria Valle Alvarez, who was recently appointed by Mexico's Department of Foreign Affairs to lead Mexico's council in Yuma County. I will also be meeting with her and her team this coming Wednesday to discuss collaboration opportunities. Sorry. Supervisor Tony Reyes and I participated in last week's congressional border briefing, joining local leaders from Arizona border county communities who presented to congressional staff and engaged in a dialogue on port of entry projects and cross-border initiatives. That will conclude my presentation, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, if you have any questions?
Thank you. Any questions for Alejandro? No. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, Alejandro, I took pictures of the consulate from this view instead of from the back. I'm going to send them to you. Would you pass them on?
She actually asked me for the pictures, so yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, moving on to events, calendar and current events. Lynn, we'll go ahead and start.
Let's see. I attended the Yuma County Library, Main Library Volunteer Appreciation Event, and they did these wonderful decorations that I hope they store them safely so that they can be utilized for other things in the future, because they are some great decorations. And it was a very nice, event. And one of my former students is a volunteer down there, and she got an award. So congratulations, Audrey. I attended the fair, the Yuma County Fair. The nights that I attended, it was so crowded. It was amazing. It was great. The Yuma community came out and just made it a huge hit. And congratulations to all the 4-Hers and FFA kids who had animals. It was quite a great event, and I want to thank the Fair Board and everyone involved in organizing it. That Yuma County had a great time. I attended the CSA Legislative Affairs meeting, and I attended long-term planning retreat for Yuma County both days, and at every legislative policy committee I attended a second one. So those are it.
Everything that Lynn said, plus the premiere of the Yuma Water movie.
Oh, I didn't do
which
that.
was good.
Darn.
They said you were going to be there.
Uh-oh. Did I miss it?
You did.
Oh.
Thursday night at the historic Main Theater. Met with Amanda
I wonder
and
where I was.
Aguirre and several other local NGOs to discuss the Title 42 coming to an end and what that might mean for Yuma County and how we could deal with that. We've got a tabletop exercise this week with Border Patrol, and they anticipate that they will be faced with street releases for the first time ever in Arizona. And so we hope that we will be able to coordinate here within the county. It seems as if some of the budgetary constraints placed on Border Patrol and ICE may limit their ability to transport out of Yuma County.
Ooh.
So she will be prepared to do everything that she can, but she doesn't have the ability to exceed more than 500 a day. Also, FEMA is in arrears. They have never paid her rent for her space that she's using to take care of the county.
Oh my gosh.
And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman. Nothing but happy news.
Tony?
All right. I did have a meeting with the Yuma Vision Group, or the San Luis Vision Group, sorry, that I mentioned the Yuma one. And what's taking up all this air in the space is the new port of entry improvements in there. We did get a sort of like a schedule and a redrawing of what is going to happen in San Luis. And I'm just sort of starting by forewarning everyone, that's going to be a 5-year construction project. And we still haven't finished the final design until December this year, 2023. It is the classic government at work situation where it'll take them 5 years to redo that. 40% of it's going to be parking space mostly, but I'll make sure that I'll forward you the final or near final design and the time frames for that construction schedule. But it's getting increasingly difficult now to make it into Mexico. It used to be coming back from Mexico. Now it's an hour and a half, and the season, basically the farm worker season's over. So now the U.S. officials are basically inspecting cars going south. So now it's become an issue to go either one way or another. And nobody, doesn't matter what time of day it is. It could be 8 in the morning and the line could be up to Walmart. It could be 10 in the morning. So it's just It's just unpredictable. It's full of good news, as the vice chair said. We did have, there's, the Mayor San Luis wants to have a discussion on local property taxes, which is, I'm sure, a very high pleasure for me to talk about, but if you want to talk about that. And we were present. I mean, I wasn't present for the whole meeting, but we did have a sort of border infrastructure report given to all border counties and municipalities at the border in Tucson, Arizona, which I'm sure Alejandro can probably better describe what happened, but it's certainly a busy time for all ports of entry. And what it means to me is we're going to be in transition for at least a few years in Nogales, in Douglas, in everywhere. The numbers are now increasing exponentially, and I don't think that's going to slow down unless something happens. Again, we don't get a report in the county now, but I'm sure that they're getting ready for anything. Well, that's kind of like what we spend our time on a lot lately, out in South County, at least in the border area. Mr. Chairman?
That's it? All right. All right, I attended the GYDC meeting last week. Also met with the new consulate of Mexico here in Yuma. That was a great conversation we had, and she's excited to be here, as we heard this morning. So
she hasn't gone through a summer here yet.
Well,
so
yeah, that's what I told her. So
she would be.
And that's it. Ian.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh,
yeah.
Go, Darren.
Don't forget,
Mr. Simmons.
Everybody, hey, just real quick, if you would pass on my regrets for Wednesday about not being at the employee recognition, and my congratulations to all the winners, and thanks to all the employees for their hard work and years of service.
Sure.
We'll do that, definitely.
And I'll report my other stuff later. I got too much to. I got to write it down.
Thanks for joining us this morning, Supervisor Simmons. Thank you.
All right, you guys have a good one.
You too. Ian.
Chairman, thank you. Welcome new Yuma County employees at the new hire orientation. Also attended the library volunteer appreciation event. Of course, was there at the 2-day long-term planning roundtable that we had last week. Attended the GYEDC Board of Directors meeting, the County Managers Association and Arizona County's Insurance Pool meetings, the San Luis Frontera Rotary Club 30th Anniversary Gala over the weekend, and a reminder, as Supervisor Simmons just mentioned, the annual employee recognition ceremony is this Wednesday, the 19th at 3:30 p.m. at the historic Yuma Theater. So that's it. Thank you.
Just wanted to say that, forgetting that we had 2 days of long-term planning and not mentioning that was kind of like a big oversight.
No, Lynn mentioned it.
Well, yeah.
I
All
mentioned
of us
it,
attended.
yeah.
that
That's why I
meeting.
just said everything that she said.
Yeah, well, that was kind of like a big oversight. We spent 2 days planning or hearing employees and their needs.
It was so
basically
good.
been covered by the newspaper almost every day since then. So it was thank you, Supervisor Porches, Chairman Porches, for bringing us all up in there and listen to some of the needs and assess the situation with the employees as it is instead of as we think it is. So thank you very much.
No, that went well. I really appreciate everybody out there.
Don't appreciate the burritos. I need to get better. But we'll talk about that later.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize for being late this morning. There's no better way to start a week than to go in your car and turn the key and nothing goes.
Get a new car.
Battery.
Battery.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Yes.
All right.
All right.
It